Hi everyone, this is Mani and welcome back to SKSecOps. Today we are going to understand another important concept in Docker, which is Docker volumes. In order to understand this concept better, let us consider one of the analogy where in our childhood we used to go to the school in the school bus and later we reached our school. First thing we saw was welcome to our school on the board. And then you all are sitting in the classroom. At 9 a.m., there is a max class, and your max teacher arrives into the classroom and she explains a concept called the parabola, which is the part of geometry. But at 10 a.m., the bell rings, and another teacher, the social teacher, comes to your classroom. Then your maths teacher needs to leave the classroom. Before she leaves the classroom, she erases the board with the help of duster. Now, if you don't take notes and just sit idle throughout the class, you won't remember everything the teacher explained in the max class, and nothing you will be having to refer it later. But if you draw or write it down, this parabola concept in your notebook, you can always refer or review it again. That's why the notebook plays a major role in the school in terms of storing the important information and the concept taught in class, such as the parabola explained by your teacher. How this analogy is related to Docker volumes, we will see in just few minutes. Now let's come to Docker world. In Docker, container means a running instance of an application. This application can create and store data such as images, PDFs, logs, or other files. By default, all these files are stored in the container's ephemeral file system. What is this ephemeral file system? Ephemeral file system means a temporary short-lived storage layer that exists only as long as the container is running. Once the container is removed, all the data inside the file system is also removed. Then how can you store these files or data even if the container is removed? That's where Docker volumes comes into the picture. These volumes can store the data that your application has generated in a persistent way. Then who is managing these volumes? Yes, Docker is managing these volumes. How your parents has given a name for you when you are a child. Similarly, in Docker, you can also give a name to a volume. Then these volumes are called named volumes. If you don't give a name, Docker still creates a volume, but it will have a randomly generated name. Then these are called anonymous volumes. How this classroom analogy is related here. Just like a notebook stores the important information explained in class by your teacher, similarly, Docker volume stores important data generated by a container. Even if the board is erased, the information is in the notebook, and similarly, if the container is removed, the data remains safe in the volumes. Now we should also understand concept of mounting. Mounting means attaching a storage or volume to a specific path inside a container so that the container can read and write data to that storage or volume. To understand this mounting, let us consider a developer who has developed an application. This application has one of the feature called upload image. Now you dockerized your application and your application is running in the form of container. When a user uploads an image, that application store this image inside the container under the path /app/data. Now when you mount a volume to /app/data in the container, the files or images that are also stored in this volume. Inside the container, you can still see and access them at slash app slash data, but they are not in the containers file system, which is ephemeral layer. They live in the volume, which Docker maps into the container because of this mounting. Again, if you launched a second container and then mount the same volume to slash app slash data, then both container 1 and container 2 will see the same files because they are pointing to the same volume. Let's also understand Docker volume command. For that, let me use one of the Blackboard. Let's focus on named volume command and how it's look like. This is the named volume command and let's break down. Docker means it's a Docker CLI command. Run means to run a new container. Hyphen D means detached mode, which runs in the background. Hyphen name, SKSecOps means name of the container. Hyphen V stands for volume flag. MyVol colon slash app mounts a named volume at slash app inside the container, and here MyVol is the named volume. Slash app is the path inside the container where the volume is mounted. Nginx is the Nginx image used to create the Docker container. Latest is the tag which specifies a specific image version. That's all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you really like this video, click on the like button, and if you are watching for the first time, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also please share with your friends as well. Thank you so much.